All right. So, welcome to tonight's call. We are going to be talking about the future of spiritual growth. So, yeah, I'm super stoked to be sharing some new and exciting things with you all this evening. All right. So, tonight we're going to talk about a new app that Kieran and I have been working on diligently. And yes, he's on the call tonight, which I'm so excited because he's all the way in Australia and he's usually not able to come to these calls at our time, right? So I'm glad you're here, Kieran. But yeah, Soul Compass is really, it's about accessing your highest timeline and it's about daily guidance for your soul's path. And definitely, I'm going to take you guys through, first off, just why this came into being. Okay, so really, why do we need a compass? What is the purpose of a compass, right? And feel free to type in the chat if there's something that I'm missing or not including that you think needs to be included. But we really need a compass to know the direction that we're going, right? Where are we heading? If you're out in the woods and you have no cell service and you get lost, you pretty much definitely want to have a compass, right? So we come to Earth and we kind of have the same thing going on. We're lost on this planet. We do the best we can every day, right? But we need a compass, right? And so we need to understand when we get to Earth, how do we manifest our reality? And I talk about this a lot, is that we really only need to focus on four things. Okay, so to manifest your reality, you need to focus on your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and your responses. So the combination of those four things is going to impact your reality directly. Okay. And a lot of people just think about the thoughts, right? You've probably heard the phrase thoughts become things, or just focus on your mindset or change your mindset. Those types of things are good and useful. But if you look at the whole pie here, thoughts are actually the smallest one. So the other ones I think are feelings especially are the most important, but we're going to go through all these. Okay. So, oh, and let's see if someone's in the chat. What is the difference between actions and responses? Yes, that's a very good question. I will get to that because there is a difference. Actions are the things that you do. Responses are how you interact with your environment and respond to what's going on around you. So most people are reactive, right? They just get triggered, they react. That's not really they're not conscious about it. Responses are when we're much more deliberate and conscious, right? So, yeah, and I'll give some examples as we go through. Okay, so what about our spiritual growth, right? We need a compass for our spiritual growth and evolution. And after working with people for the last almost 18 years now, I have definitely seen patterns that have emerged that has to do with how people get stuck and what triggers them and their mindset, all of these things. There are reasons for all of these things. And there is also a way through all of these things. But it's not something we learn in school. It's not something anybody really teaches. Maybe church a little bit, if you were raised in a religion. But I don't think religion actually teaches the whole. To me, religion and spirituality are two different things. So you can be religious but not spiritual and you can also be spiritual and not religious. So I'm in the category of spiritual and not religious. And I certainly have an opinion about religion, but I pretty much keep it to myself. And I honor everybody for their path, whatever it is. So, yeah, if you have your own spiritual practice, and I don't judge anybody for what they believe or don't believe. But for me personally, and after working with over 8,000 people in the last 17 years, I have seen all these patterns that we need a spiritual growth system. And we need something that's going to really move the needle. Okay, so we're going to start off in the West. Okay, so I'm going to take you through the compass. So the West is represented by the mind or the thoughts. Okay, but we have the conscious mind, which is really only processing about 40 bits of information per second on average. And that's going to be located in the headline, which is that middle line in your hands that goes across, basically cuts the hand in half horizontally. Okay, so we can read what the conscious mind is doing there. The subconscious mind actually has about 40 million bits of information per second that it's processing. So it's not even close to the difference of what it is able to show. And this is going to be in our hand shape. Okay, so the hand shape is forming on your final shape forms by the time you're about 5 or 6 years old. And it's fully formed by that point. And it's representing how the subconscious is going to impact and how you're going to navigate your personality. Okay, so your subconscious mind definitely has, your hand shape is going to give you a lot of information about that. And then we have the superconscious mind, which is the higher self. Okay, this is in the fingerprints, which form 5 months before birth. And this is really what the soul wants you to experience in this lifetime. So it goes beyond the mind and it goes into that multidimensional aspect of who you are. And regardless of the choices that you make in your life, your soul is going to guide you through those choices, and it's going to bring to you things that you signed up for before you were born, no matter what. And it's going to test you. And I chuckle at that because sometimes it's not easy and it's, oh my gosh, why am I doing this again? Why is this coming up again? Chances are it could be from the fingerprints. Okay, so that's the West. So Einstein actually told us that we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking that we used when we created them. Okay, so in other words, if you were in the problem of your life, how are you supposed to solve your problem? Because you're in that problem thinking, right? So you have to get above that. You have to ascend in your thinking in order to have new thoughts, right? New ways of believing, right? We have to create belief systems that are going to work for us. Okay, so definitely keep that in mind with Einstein. And he did have a very interesting headline, by the way. His headline is very curved. This is representing somebody who is a very intuitive thinker, by the way, if you have a really curved headline like this. And he was a great problem solver because his headline actually curves up at the start of it. Yeah, here, let me pull up my laser pointer so you can see. You'll notice this little curve up. This is the headline right here. Okay, so Einstein's headline was actually quite unusual, and he did have a little bit of forking as well. There's a fork right here, it looks like. So forking just represents a split in the energy. Okay, so problem solver, deep thinker, imaginative, That was Einstein. All right. So the problem with our thoughts. Okay, so basically, number one is you don't know what you don't know. Okay, I use this example quite often because beliefs, most of them are subconscious. And what that means is that they're going to be running in the background. They're going to be on autopilot, and they form by most of them form by the time you are 5 or 6 years old. So when we look at, oh, I'm just going to change my attitude, right? So we think that a positive attitude is going to be enough for us. And the answer is actually that's not enough. We need to be doing more than that. We need to be changing beliefs on a subconscious level. And our higher self, again, is guiding us to these experiences regardless of our thoughts. So a lot of this, though, can be molded by our free will. So my spirit guides tell me a lot that we underutilize our free will. And so it's good we're actually going to do an exercise by the end of this call, by the way, that is utilizing our free will. So it's a message that I got from Mary Magdalene that I channeled recently. I'll take you guys through an activation. Okay, so does all this make sense so far with the mind? Okay. Okay, so next up, we are going to look at the direction of the south. Okay, so the south is going to be where the heart lives, and our feelings are going to come through here. Okay, so feelings override thoughts. In other words, they are stronger than thoughts. Okay, so we know this is true because all you have to do is have a memory of something from your past, right? You may not remember all the details of your past, but you will probably remember how you felt in that place. So the feelings are definitely stronger and they're more important than even the thoughts. Okay, so feelings express through the heart line, they express through the color in the palms, right? So if you have a color in your hands that is not just a standard pink color, that means there's an emotion going on that wants to be addressed. And then we also have what we call the heart chambers, and these are going to be specific areas in the palm. Okay, so we also can have feelings that become trapped. Okay, so in our energy field, these can impact your ability to actually make progress in your life. And the thing with feelings too is you never know, like, when did they come about? You might have had them all the way since childhood, or even all the way from a past life, for example. So feelings can carry over even into your future life if you don't process them or if you haven't healed it. Okay, so these are the problems, right? So number one is feelings are complex, right? So sometimes you don't even know how you're feeling. How many of you have ever been happy and sad at the same time? I know, right? I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm scared, I'm excited. Oh my gosh, I don't know what I am. It can be incredibly complex, right? And this also shows up in that heart line. The heart line shows all kinds of variations, and people ask me, my heart line goes all over the place. It's yeah, because feelings are complex. Okay, they can be hard to pinpoint. So sometimes I don't even know what trapped emotion I have, or it can be very difficult to know, right? They may be coming from, like I said, that early childhood. You don't remember when you were 2, right? So how can we know what that's even about? And if it's coming from a past life, even worse, right? Maybe you were burned at the stake in a past life, like I was, for reading hands, or maybe you were an empath and people didn't like what you were doing and you were banished from your village or something. These things were pretty commonplace. So we have these traumas and they will hold in our emotional body. And number four is they might not even be ours, right? We might be an empath and we're actually absorbing other people's emotions. People who don't want other people to feel bad, for example. It's, oh, I'll feel bad with you so that you don't feel so bad. How many of you have done that? Guilty. I'm definitely guilty of that. But spiritual people tend to be empaths and they will inadvertently pick up other people's emotions, especially to ease the pain of someone. So this is, again, this is the challenges with our feelings. Okay. So moving over to the north. Okay, the north is our calling, representing our calling. And of course, I put this here because we always talk about what is your true north, right? So of course, north, we think of calling and actions. Okay, so what are you doing with this beautiful life that you've been given? And where are you going with it? And so the thing about actions, the first thing I want to point out is that we really are creatures of habit. Okay, so if you take a look at what you did yesterday versus today, you have a routine. Everybody has a routine, right? And we tend to be doing the same things every day. Like, for example, when I get up in the morning, I like my cup of coffee. I like to pull out my card decks and I like to meditate with them. I got to feed my dog. He gets hungry every day. Imagine that. You want to eat again? And then I got to eat eventually too, right? So we have these habitual things that we do every single day. So in order to really fulfill our calling, though, it's what actions are we taking towards our calling? So that leads me to number two. There's a difference between action and aligned action. Okay, so yes, we can be going through the motions every day. We can be busy. This is another thing that everybody is these days, right? We're busy. Oh, I can't do that. I'm too busy. Oh, I've got my calendars completely full, but what is it full with? Okay, so this is the difference between aligned action. Aligned action is where you are actually moving towards your calling. You are doing actions that are going to set you up for fulfilling your purpose. Okay, so of course, our purpose or our calling is in our fingerprints, which forms, again, 5 months before birth. And everybody has at least one purpose finger, as well as it could be more than one. And then we also have a school or a lens that we look through, which will impact our purpose as well. And then, of course, we have free will. Okay, so yeah, you can choose to follow your aligned action or not every single day. Okay, so sometimes we don't know what that aligned action even is, though, because we don't know what our purpose is. That's not good if we don't know what our purpose is and we don't actually think about it, right? And of course, how the purpose plays out is an infinite number of ways because, of course, that combination of free will and personality. Purpose isn't, it's not like a static thing, right? It's an evolution, especially as you advance in your learning, advance in your life. Okay, so that's our north. So the problems with actions are number one, we have difficulty in changing bad habits. This is why people have addictions. Why do alcoholics have to go to Alcoholics Anonymous, for example? Because they can't break that habit. Why do drug addicts have a hard time, right? Because they're addicted to the drug. But we can be addicted to other things too. We can be addicted to overworking. We can be addicted to just about anything, really. So it's good to look at anything that's in excess, might be something that we need to change, especially if it's not helping us move towards our calling. Okay, so number two, not knowing or following through with aligned action, right? So if we don't know what to do every day, then chances are we're just going to be going through our bad habits, right? Darn it. Why do I keep doing that? Number three is not knowing or recognizing our true calling, right? So maybe we have a view or a glimpse of what is our calling or what do we think is our calling, but maybe there's actually something even better that's waiting for us, right? So it's really important when we go to the north direction to look at the bigger picture of our lives and what's possible. And so the other problem, number four, not using our free will, right? So this is letting other people decide for us, not taking responsibility for ourselves, right? So sometimes you maybe have seen some of those signs. Oh, everything is my husband's fault. We blame everybody else but ourselves, right? Oh, I would do this except for I have this. It's my kid's fault. It's my stupid job that I hate fault, right? We gave excuses as to why can we not fulfill our calling. Okay. But my guides would definitely say you're not using your free will in the best way that you can. For example, when I first started reading hands, I was working at a restaurant and I was doing that full time. And restaurant work is big. There's a lot of hours in restaurant work. I was working maybe 50 to 55 hours a week, and that takes up a lot of your week, right? But it was funny because I was starting to read hands on the side, and I pretty much knew like I loved to look at people's hands. And I had so many people respond to me, "Hey, why aren't you just reading hands full time? Why are you staying at this restaurant? What are you doing?" And it took like several people telling me that in a row. Oh, maybe that is what I'm supposed to be doing. It was actually pretty funny. And this is after I had like a huge career in the restaurant industry. So my old self, right? And this is the other thing is we have the old identity is like, oh, but again, this is my habit. This is what I've been doing forever. So I don't know if I can do anything else. And there can be a little bit of hesitation, right, with our actions. Okay, so next up, we have Nikola Tesla. Okay, so he's one of my favorite scientists of all time. And he told us that we need to think about energy, frequency, and vibration. So he said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, you need to think in these terms. All right. So I thought that was a very interesting statement. And he also had a very interesting hand, too, by the way, starting with his extremely long little finger is representing his incredible genius and how much information was coming in. He was definitely off the charts on that. So we go to the east. Okay, east is going to represent our light or our responses. Okay, so what we need to think about in the east is that we are light and we have light bodies, right? So you can go and you can get your aura picture taken and you can see that you have this energy around you and it changes color and we have all these things going on. And we're really, I don't know, 70% water. And so we're definitely not as solid as we think we are. So we are more than our physical body, right? We have a soul, and the soul is actually the one in charge. And it's, of course, that's why we have that higher self that's guiding us. But we do have that physical body to navigate through for a period of time, right? Until we're ready to transition. And I don't like to use the term death anymore, really, because I really do think of death as just a transition because the soul is eternal. And So we transition when we die and we go back to the light. We go back into our light body. Okay. But we come in and we have this experience. And one, by the way, one is not more important or less important than another either. Sometimes people think, I just want to check out and go back to my light body, right? And that's all well and good, but we also chose to come here to Earth to have an experience and to be doing what we're doing, right? So I believe every experience has value, and there's a reason why we're here. Everybody has a purpose, and we should appreciate every step of the way. So if you have not transitioned yet, that means that you still have more things to do here while you are in your physical body. Okay. So number 3, light equals vibration or frequency. In other words, we have a vibratory set point. Okay. So if we were to put it on a measurable scale, what is your frequency? What is your vibration? And so when we raise our light frequency, our reality actually changes, right? So this is where I think some of the more esoteric trainings can come in, but it is interesting that it does connect back to science. And just because we can't see our light body doesn't mean it's not vibrating. It doesn't mean it doesn't have its set point, right? So Tesla definitely he was onto something when he told us about this. Okay, so the problems with this, right? What happens when we dim our light? In other words, if we are keeping ourselves small, that is dimming our light. Okay, and trust me, I've been guilty of this one for many years because it was one of my life lessons is hiding out, being invisible. I can't shine my light because if I do, it's dangerous and I might get killed, right? So there's a safety issue. So that's on an emotional level. A lot of light workers feel this and understand this because we've been persecuted in the past. So number 2 is not working with the soul, right? So everybody, by the way, is intuitive, right? You know when that gut instinct kicks in and you know that you're getting a hit on something. Maybe you get tingles on your arms. Maybe you receive a message and maybe you ignore it, right? So if you ignore that intuition long enough, what happens? More than likely, you're probably going to get sick or you're going to get in an accident. Or this is also why people have near-death experiences, is because if you really ignore it for too long, the universe might be like, we got to take you out of your body for a little while to give you the message so that you really get it. Okay, so personally, I would like to not go through that because that's certainly not pleasant. And so we need to learn to work with the soul, right? So the other problem is maybe we don't know what our vibratory set point is because we're not focusing on it, right? Checking in is important. Paying attention is important. And the other problem is not knowing how to raise our light. How do we actually increase our vibratory set point? How do we increase our light, right? So these are all the things to think about in the East. Okay, so this leads to the 7 aspects of ascension. So my spirit guides gave me these 7 aspects, and they said, this is how you raise your vibratory set point. So ascension simply means spiritual growth, spiritual development, spiritual evolution. I use these terms all interchangeably, by the way, so any of these are good. But number 1 is you got to be open to change, right? Otherwise, what happens? You're going to be stuck in those bad habits. You're going to be stuck in that every day is the same, right? How are you going to grow if you keep doing the same things over and over again? Isn't that the definition of insanity? Isn't that what they said? Keep doing the same thing and expect it to be different. We have to change. Number two, discovery of self. Okay, so we have to know who we are in order to fulfill our purpose, right? And I put self as a capital S because that's the higher self is guiding you, the calling. Everybody has that purpose, right? Number three, learning lessons, right? We all came here to learn lessons. By the way, some of them are life lessons. Those are going to be in the fingerprints. Some of them are going to be maybe minuscule lessons or micro lessons, depending on where you are in your life and what is going on, right? So sometimes it could just be, this is what I'm learning today, or it could be, this is what I'm learning for throughout my entire life. Okay, number four is neutralizing karma. So karma is real. Absolutely. It is the law of the universe that what you reap, what you sow, you reap. Okay, so if you are a good person, if you're a positive person, you are going to develop positive karma back. If you are a negative person, if you do negative things, you will have to pay that back in some way later on. Okay. So the process of neutralizing karma is the process of becoming more loving, more positive, and really taking ownership of everything you've ever done. So when we transition and we go to the other side, we do go through a life review. And that essentially is looking at your karma. What did you create in this lifetime? What did you do with your life? What did you do with your time? Did you use it or did you waste it? And nobody's going to judge you except for you. Okay. There is no God is going to punish you or all that stuff. That's not how it works. We judge ourselves. Okay. So, number five, embodying the exalted self. This is really about taking those lessons that we learn and demonstrating the opposite of them, okay, or the exalted of that. Okay, so let's say, for example, you were really impatient for part of your life, right? And I was guilty of this. I used to be an impatient driver. Okay, coming from Utah, I think a lot of people could relate to this. Oh, impatient drivers in Utah? Yeah, no, there's a lot of them. And I was one of them. But after I started learning to fly an airplane, actually, is how I learned patience because flying a plane is completely different than driving. And that was just a side effect, actually, of learning to be a pilot. But it was really interesting because suddenly I noticed, wow, I'm not getting all worked up on the road anymore. I'm not getting angry. I'm not getting upset. And so I knew I had learned a valuable lesson of patience. And so that was me embodying the exalted self, right? So we can look at things that we have learned over the years and how do we express them in a positive way, right? So, number six, accessing higher states of love. We are here to become more loving, become more connected with everyone and everything, because that's how the universe works. We are all actually connected. And the aspect of ascension means that we need to get out of those lower vibrations of fear, shame, doubt, frustration, anger, any of those types of things, negative thoughts, negative self-talk. All of these things we have to learn them to be able to ascend to the positive. And number seven, co-creating with source. We need to learn to work with the universe, right? It's a co-creation. We have the divine oneness of everything. And then we have our purpose and our path. So I like to think of it as a co-creation. But yeah, so these are all the seven aspects of ascension. Okay, so I'm going to just pause right here. Does anyone have any questions or comments so far? And you can also put it in the chat. Does all this make sense? Let me just put it that way.
I just tell you, I take notes on it every single time we talk about it. I probably have this written in my notes 10 times someplace, but it sinks in a little more every time.
Good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so true. We need to remember these things, right? Because the trainings are really, these are core trainings. And I'm so grateful that I was given these when I do my automatic writing. So, okay, so let's go back here. And I am now going to talk about soul compass. Okay, so what if there was a way to assist spiritual seekers in a structured way that naturally helps them shape their soul aligned reality? So that's really the whole reason why Soul Compass was born, because I got frustrated back when I was just reading hands, by the way, which was a long time in my career. I would see people's life lessons. I would see where they were stuck. I would see the lines that are like, "Oh, wow, you've got an anger issue," whatever. I would see those things but then I wouldn't really know what to do after that. It's how do I heal that, or how do I get past that, or what do I do about it? And my answer used to be, I don't know, go figure it out. So for a long time, I would get frustrated a little bit because I would see all this stuff in the hands and then I didn't have a clear way to actually help somebody. So I spent years and years taking my own trainings and studying and learning from different people, different things, different pieces. And I'm the first one to call myself a hot mess. That's kind of how I look at it. Man, you're just this hot mess. You have all this stuff that you just gather together, and what do you do with it? But now I have found a way to integrate all of the stuff that I've learned over the last 26 years. And that's, in my opinion, this is where AI really has come a long way just in the last few years, is we can bring together things that just were not possible even just a year ago. And regular AI, we're not talking about that because this is actually Soul Compass is taking the knowledge of my 26 years of experience and it's putting it into this beautiful app. Okay. It's not just some random chatbot. In case you're wondering. So, how to access your highest timeline, we really need to look at new thoughts, new feelings, new actions, new responses, and those will lead directly to new timelines, right? So we have to ask, what are you choosing? Okay. So, but again, nobody taught any of this in school. It's not common knowledge, right? It's not common knowledge. So we need to have a path forward. Okay. So the palm portals came to me also in my channeled meditations that we have these 10 portals that are in our hands. So again, going back to we are energy, we are light, we are frequency, we are vibration. So we have these portals that are actually located in our hands. We have a portal of willpower. We have a portal of lineage, work, creative expression, wisdom, healing, potential co-creation, karmic neutralization, self-knowledge, collective willpower, and a portal of change. So when we work with these portals, we actually have a way to guide our lives that's very structured. Okay, so I was really excited to learn about these portals because I've been doing energy work for a really long time. And to me, it just made a lot of sense that we would have so much connected through our hands, right? Our hands are actually connecting to more than any other, our brain and our hands are connected to more than any other part of our body. We can see light if you have again that Kirlian photography, you can see light actually coming out of the fingers. So it's really exciting to think, wow, okay, this is actually structured in hand analysis and it can guide us into our multidimensional selves. Okay, so We have our 4 directions of calling, mind, light, and heart. And we're going to take a look next at our actual Soul Compass application. So I'm going to pull that up right now. And here it is. Okay, so this has definitely taken a lot of work to get here, Kieran. But it's,
Sure has.
yeah, but it's so amazing. I'm so glad that you decided to take this on with me because I honestly don't think I would have been able to, there's no way I would have been able to do this on my own. So I'm grateful for you. But yeah, so we wanted to make this fun. Okay, so this is a web-based application, which means that it's not going to be on Apple or Google app. This is web-based, okay? But really what's nice about this is you can come in and you can actually just spin the compass. Okay, so you don't have to know anything of what you're doing. Okay, so you click on that, you're listening to your soul, and it's going to guide you in a direction. Okay, so your soul calls you to heart. Okay, so then we're going to begin our heart session. And so you can just click on that and off you go. Okay, so we are going to be pulling a portal card. Okay, so this is one of those 11 portals that are from the fingerprints. Okay, and we put it into a card format to make it really fun. And I am eventually going to have these as a real card deck. I'm still working on that, but you can shuffle the portal cards digitally and they will be laid out. Okay, and then you can pick the one that calls to you. Okay, so let's pick that one. Okay, we're getting the Ace of Portals. Okay, so this is the portal of change. By the way, you can learn all about the portals in here as well, up here under portals. Okay, I can take you there in just a minute if you're not familiar with the portals, obviously. But then we hit continue, and then it's going to guide you to the next step. Okay, so because we drew the portal of change, this relates to the cosmic heart. Okay, so the portal between your personal heart and the universal heart, higher love and bliss. Okay, and then sometimes we get a secret room. Okay, so secret rooms are going to open up special trainings that you get to go in and you get to learn from. So you can enter the secret room and it's going to pop up. Oh, hey, look, it's a video with me featuring something that I'm going to teach you. Okay, so you can click on this and then you can watch the video. Hello, spiritual friends. In this video, I would like to talk about the ascension aspect, connecting to higher states of love and bliss. Okay, so you're going to get a training when you enter a secret room. Okay, so it's also going to give you options on going deeper. For example, my chakra activations album, you can go to, or you can just mark it complete. Okay. So for this demo purpose, we're going to keep it pretty short. And then we go to the next thing, which is a song. Okay, this is the Cosmic Love Song. So, by the way, all these songs are custom created specifically to tune into whatever it is that we're working to heal. So this one is a solfeggio, healing tones, and it's really beautifully crafted as far as the lyrics and everything else. It's really designed to really take you into the energy of that you're trying to heal. Okay. So I include the channeled messages from the songs. There's a ton of stuff that I put into each song to create it. All right. And then you can say when you go through all that, as you can see, you can get through a session in about 10 minutes or so. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, sometimes a little bit shorter. And then you can just say, I've sat with this. Okay. So if you are in the infinite level, there's going to be an extra step that will be included as well. This one would take you to the tetrahedron music, for example. Okay, but it's different for every single direction you pull, every single portal you pull. So you're not going to run out of material anytime soon with this. Okay, so anyway, that is essentially what a session would look like. You can also come up here to individual. Let's say, for example, you want to work on your mind. You can come up specifically to mind if you want, and then you can go through the mind process. If you want to go to light, you can specifically go to the light processes. If you want to go to calling, you can do that as well. Okay, so I think it's a lot of fun to just spin the compass though, because that's going to let the universe decide, hey, what do I actually need? And yes, you can set up sparkles on your mouse, which I think is so cute. And you can also learn about the portals. Okay, you can click on portals. I've got a video for all of these. You can read about how they're a map. You can watch the intro to Palm Portals here. This will guide you in how it works, a little bit more detail. So you get little trainings that are right there for you. You can also, this is an interactive map. You can click on this. So you have your lineage, you have your work, and then you've got a video, and then you can scroll down here and you can see, you can learn a little bit more. For example, here's the affirmation, trapped emotions that this clears. You've got a video to watch. So there's quite a lot of detail that you can actually learn from this. Okay, and you can also click on these. So we have our right hand portals and our left hand portals. Okay, so that is essentially a Soul Compass daily. Okay, so Soul Compass daily gives you all that, okay, which is quite a lot. And you'll also learn about the lunar energy. You get to see the lunar cycle. You have a daily intention on the homepage, really nice. And the colors, by the way, also change based upon the time of day, which is a lot of fun. So now if we go into more of the infinite level, then you're going to have access to a lot more stuff. We've got an oracle, we've got knowledge, we've got vision board, we've got the spiritual toolbox, daily check-in. You can talk to Alice, who is the AI that you can chat with her. So you can start a new chat and you can ask her anything about portals, crystals, or your journey, and she's going to base it. And this is what's really cool. It's going to be based on your profile. Okay, so inside your profile, you're going to have your primary archetype, right? So I'm a chariot archetype. So short fingers and a rectangular palm combined with a strong index finger. My life school is wisdom, my cosmic lineage, Pleiadian, my astrology, Sagittarius, Sun, Scorpio, Moon, Taurus, rising. These are all my fingerprints. Okay, so it gets pretty darn detailed in here. And yeah, there's a lot of things that we can do with that. So, for example, you can look at your quad number. This is a useful thing. Your lucky directions, that sort of stuff. So anyway, this is just some of the things you can learn. We also have a really cool feature called the Clairsensory Gym, where you can actually train your intuition. So you can start a challenge here. And this is what's really cool, and Kieran came up with this, is that it connects to the Australian National University's quantum random number generator. So true randomness comes from the quantum vacuum fluctuations, and so you're not guessing a computer algorithm. So this is really cool, and you get to practice clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience, claircognizance. So these are really fun, and it's really playful. We've also got the Sacred Earth Grid, where you can actually go and let's say you want to visit Delphi. Here's a map of Delphi. You can actually click on it and it'll take you right in to, okay, here's what Delphi looks like. So if you want to connect with a sacred site, for example, you can go in there. We've got a way to do practice automatic writing, which is something I do. You can pick your portal and you can choose your session that way, right? So you can begin writing and you can start a timer and you can type in here if you want to, or you can ask a question. What message of love is the cosmic heart sending me right now? Or you can change the prompt if you want. It's really pretty endless and the kinds of things that you can do in here at that infinite level. So anyway, does anyone have any questions or comments about it so far? And I'll just stop my share for a minute. Karen, did you want to say anything else too? I'll ask you. Jean, go ahead.
I was just going to say it looks really exciting.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's going to be super exciting.
Yeah, and congratulations to both of you on all this hard work.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Thanks. Yeah, it is really exciting.
yeah, I'm gonna,
I found one of the most interesting things, at least in my recent experience, is using the Alice chatbot because it really does make a good use of the spiritual profile that's set up there. It can have, obviously, Cynthia was showing the profile, it has a record of all your fingerprint types and your ancestral profile and all of this, and the AI model then knows how to use all of that information as well. And it's always referring back to Cynthia's library of information. It's got a ton of information all about different crystals, about different palm portals and fingerprint types, different archangels, and basically anything that Cynthia teaches, it can answer questions about that, and it bases it on your user profile. So it's very personalized, highly customized, and it's solving one of the problems that was a big problem for me, especially was wrapping my head around the huge amount of stuff that's going on here and then putting it into a format that makes it easy to understand. Yeah, it's great that we're to have created this. And obviously, this is for everyone, so feedback is more than welcome. If anyone has any ideas, please feel free to share them so we can continue making it an awesome platform.
absolutely. So thanks, Karen. Yeah, I appreciate your being here. So yeah, so to finish up tonight with a little healing activation from Mary Magdalene, and this is the message that she came in with. So she said, "This is Mary Magdalene here with you. Now that you are beginning to embody ascended confidence, you are starting to see and know the results that come from that knowingness. Your divine will is now able to work with your human will in a way that resonates this vibration. Continue to play with this, and it will continue to yield positive results in your life. Yes, we sent you the winter solstice message to show how seeds are planted in the realm of creation." Okay, so I'm going to pause there for just a second. I was getting the same card right around the summer solstice, by the way, but I was getting the winter solstice card. And I'm like, what is this card? Why does this keep coming in? But what they wanted me to do is actually go back to my intentions that I set during the winter solstice to see what had come true. And luckily, I write these things down, and so I could actually track it. But I thought it was really a beautiful message. And this is what they said is some seeds sprout quickly, while others may be slower in your earth time space reality. As a powerful creator, you do not know when or how that seed is going to bloom. Humans also push the seed back into the soil through doubt, worry, and other types of negativity. For you are also an unmanifester as well as a manifester. Otherwise, you would have much chaos in the earth plane, for much of this is unconscious. Blanket your seeds of intention with continued love for best results. Affirm all that you desire and remember to claim your highest good, which is aligned with the divine. here is an invocation for you to share and use. Okay, so we're going to play a little right thumb music. And go ahead and just put your right thumb on your heart. And then just repeat this after me. Right thumb, portal open, so that I may access my divine birthright of willpower. I connect my will with my left Jupiter portal of self-knowledge. Now claim the following. I see and know ascended confidence. I recognize my abilities as a confident co-creator of my reality and know that I am fully responsible for the reality that I am now experiencing. I now choose to co-create my reality while fully embodying this awareness in all timelines and all dimensions now. As things manifest that I do not want, I recognize and pivot my will to that which I prefer by clearly stating and claiming my preferences. May I do this naturally and with ease. Thank you, and so it is. So go ahead and you can release your hand, and this shall assist you in your daily awareness that you do indeed have power in your reality and co-creations. We love you and are here for you always. All right, so that's the beautiful message that just recently came in from one of my automatic writing sessions on Mary Michael. And for those of you who are not current members, by the way, if you are a current member, this is automatically going to be included in your membership. If you're new to Soul Compass and are not currently a member of my Soul Compass membership, then I am offering a free 7-day trial. And after that, it is just $19 a month. Okay, so this is the link right here, or you can scan that QR code. Okay, and I can also put it in the chat if anybody needs it in the chat. But yeah, this is a great way to get started. There's definitely no risk to just try it out. And my current members, I'm going to be giving you the access here shortly, and you'll be able to log in from the membership area. All right, but yeah, that's essentially what we've got going on right now. Some other announcements. Yeah, you're welcome, Sherry. So glad. And yeah, some of the membership stuff, by the way, is going to be moving around a little bit too. Bear with me for about a day as I get some stuff moved around. And we're also going to be changing our monthly calls just a little bit as well. Not a lot, but just a little bit. I won't necessarily talk about that right this minute, but we'll talk about it more probably next week if anybody is not currently a member. Okay, any other questions or comments before we sign off for the evening? Trina
Did
says,
I understand right that it will have our prints if we're members? The Soul Compass AI will have our stuff in our portals? Or,
we have to put that in. It's not going to automatically have it.
but
But
we can put it in ourselves if we have copies. Like, how do we do it?
yes, you can put it in. So yeah, once you get access, which will be probably tomorrow, I can always guide you through it if you have any questions about that, but it's going to be in the profile section.
That's
So
amazing. Thank you
yeah,
so much. That's so
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I think you're going to love it, and it's going to be something you can do every day, and it's going to guide you in ways that are fun and interesting. I think you'll love that. So Trina said, this is so exciting. Thank you both, Cynthia and Karen, for all your hard work on this amazing app. Looking forward to using Soul Compass daily every day. Yay! That's awesome, Trina. Thank you.
That's
So,
lovely. Thank you for the nice feedback, everyone.
yeah,
Appreciate it. And I hope
yeah,
it's really helpful for everyone.
yeah, absolutely. So, all right. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. And yeah, members, we'll have our regular call next Monday as well. I'll be sending out the reminder for that. Okay. So thank you so much. Have a good night, everybody.
See you guys.